Hey guys, it's me, Neon, and today I'm just gonna be reading this absolutely wild story. This guy who literally just sent a Karen to prison. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of my dream, but yeah, I do hope you guys like the video. If you do, just please like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so this happened around like 5 years ago. I'm a mailman, and my route consists of a single stop with 65 community mailboxes for a large gated community of 800 houses. Each community box has like 8 to 16 mailboxes in it. It has 1 to 2 lockers, and there's an outgoing mail slot. Each box has a master lock that opens up the entire front of the box. That way I can just access all of the mailboxes inside of it without having to open them up individually. It just makes it easier. The boxes are set up in 4 rows, and it takes me around an hour to deliver each row. I'm paid by salary, not hourly, so the faster I get done, the more per hour I get paid, which is just a great incentive to find ways to cut off time and that out of my day. One way I do this is that I will split the mail into 4 sections, one for each row of boxes, instead of bundling mail for each box individually, and then I open up all the boxes on that row, go to the rest of the houses, and then I just go through with the letters. And then I open up those packages and lock everything up and move on to the next row. I've been doing this route for like 20 years now, and most of the people there know me by sight. I'm friendly with a few, and whenever someone I don't know approaches me while working, I let them know my rules. You don't reach into any mailbox that I currently have open. If you need your mail now and you're unable to come back later, tell me which of the boxes your mailbox is in, and I'll close it for you. That way you can unlock your individual mailbox and get your mail from it. I do not deliver out of order, no matter how big of a hurry you might just be in, because all the mail just comes in a specific order, and it's a pretty just giant waste of my time to dig in through it all and just find yours. And I definitely do not permit children to go near any box that's open, because you never know what they're going to grab, and grab they do. I know from experience. I feel like these are reasonable rules to ask people to follow, but hey. So along comes Karen. This being a rather wealthy gated community, you'd think I would run into more of them, but the people here are actually quite polite and respectful of my rules. So you know the type. Slightly overweight, bleach, blonde, bob cut, pantsuit, pretty much shoes that pretty much just cost more than my entire mortgage payment. She just walks right up to me as I'm starting to unload everything from my mail truck and demands to know which mailbox is hers. Doesn't tell me your name, doesn't tell me your address, just walks up to me and demands. You might be wondering how she could possibly not know. When there's 800 mailboxes and 65 community mailboxes, it can be a little daunting to figure out which box is yours when you first move in. So in this situation, there's a few questions I need to ask to figure out which is the best way to help someone find it. So I start off with, "Have you received a set of mail keys yet?" To which she replied, "I don't know. I don't see how that is any of your business." I explained to her that if she wanted to open it up, then she's gonna need her keys. But then, of course, she actually says yes because it's in her interest. Meanwhile, her son, maybe like 8 to 10, is starting to pick up all through the mail that I've already unloaded. I have kids. I know how to talk to kids. I told him that he needed to stop playing with the mail. Not loud, not mean, but firm. The Karen absolutely exploded over this. She started screaming about how I had no right to order her son around like that when I really just wasn't doing anything outrageous. When she finally yelled herself out, I told her that what the boy was doing was called tampering with mail, that it's a felony, and as his legal guardian, she would be held responsible if he didn't stop. So she made a token, just get away from their comment to her kid, and then he just moved off to play with the grass nearby. So I got all of her info and showed her which box was hers. It was in the last row, so I wouldn't be getting to it for a few hours. She opened it and found that all of the mail that had come for her just before she got her key. She flipped through it just to make sure that it was all hers. I keep meticulous track of who lives where and who's moved out. So I'd been pulling and forwarding all the mail from the previous owner and delivering anything without a name I didn't recognize for a couple of weeks. I typically start delivering weekly ads to boxes until someone has picked up for their mail for the first time, because they can just really pile up. She saw that there were no ads and flipped out, accusing me of stealing her mail and telling me that she was going to drag my postmaster all the way down here and get me fired. Yes, because I was stealing your mail when I've literally been doing this job for 20 years. That's just such a smart thing for me to do. No, lady, hate to break it to you, but this guy didn't. He really just wasn't trying to do this. Don't know what you really want, though. It was, in fact, our postmaster who had trained me in this when I first started. He was a carrier then. He was the one who told me to do this, and he tells all the new carriers to do so to this exact day. I asked if she would like his phone number, and then she started yelling at me for being an idiot. As she was doing that, her son started poking around in the mail yet again like the idiot he is. Since this was his second warning, I was a whole lot sharper and told him to get away from it this time. And of course, he just started crying, like the 10-year-old kid. Crying like a 4-year-old. Talk about spoiled. Yeah, 10-year-olds cry, but not like that. And not from a little, hey, I told you to get away from that. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. I expect this kid has literally just been never told no in his entire life. How dare you yell at my baby? You do not know who I am. The Karen just screamed at me, and then literally slapped me full across the face. I've been hit before, but that one caught me so by surprise I actually saw the stars, I'm not even kidding. I don't think I didn't think that was actually a thing until then, but clearly it was. I was taught to never hit a woman, so I restrained myself, but I told her that if she did it again, I was going to have to call the police because that is just assault. And that I would be pressing assault charges, and that her boy had to get away from the mail. She then told me that if I called the police, she would tell them that I tried to assault her. I was like, whatever, have a nice day, lady, as sarcastically as humanly possible. She just stood there and I was like, what? And she said, what about today's mail? I told her of my rules and that I wouldn't be getting to her box for a few hours. She looked like she was actually about to lose it and her head was just about to pop off with rage. But then she just walked off in a frustrated huff. She didn't go far though. She walked over a ways away from the mailbox and just stood there like she was gonna wait 3 hours for me to get to her mailbox. Just out of like sheer spite or something. I swear she was actually fueled by like all the creatures in the underworld or something. I was like, whatever, and just went back to unloading. I opened up all the boxes on the first row and started to deliver. Her kid came out for a closer look, and that's fine as long as he stays back and keeps some hands to himself. Kids are curious and often surprised by how the community boxes open up, and didn't want a closer look. I told him that he could watch, but he needed to stay back. Thankfully, the Karen didn't hear this, or I imagine she'd be yet again just trying to scream at me just for, I don't know, like verbally abusing her child or something just for saying that you should stay away or what. I'm not really too sure. I finished up the first row and I looked over. Karen that was just still waiting, just glaring at me like I murdered her entire family. Her son looked like he was about to drop dead of sheer boredom, and I really just couldn't blame him. Watching me deliver mail is not just like the most entertaining thing in the world. Like, believe it or not, most people would rather like go to, like, I don't know, like a NASCAR race or like a boxing fight. But no, this kid's seriously just having to sit here watching you deliver mail. I mean, I can't really blame him for being bored. And I still just don't get why she wouldn't just go home and just check back in a few hours like a normal person. Like, what did she think was going to prove to me by just standing there and glaring at me the whole time I was working? Like, yeah, believe it or not, I am used to people looking at me while I work. So before I started on the second row, I made a quick call to my supervisor at the post office and just let her know everything that had happened. She told me that if the Karen approached me again, I was okay to just start filming her with my phone, so that there would be actual video evidence if things escalated. And that was what sealed the Karen's fate in the end, and saved me from wrongful assault accusations. So I'm just so glad she told me to do it. So I get back to work, open up all the boxes on the second row, and just start delivering. The kid was back watching me, but this time he just moved right on up to me and just reached into one of the mailboxes. I put a magazine into it like he was going to grab it. I grabbed him by the wrist and pulled his hand out and pinned it to his chest with a finger. Then I told him in a very low, serious voice that if he did that again, things were going to get nasty. So what does this kid do? He reaches into the box, pulls out the magazine, and tears it in literal halves. So at this time, I am at the absolute end of my patience with these people, and I flipped out. I started yelling at the kid, I started yelling at the Karen started yelling at me. I pulled out my phone and started filming her, and she went an absolute rampage. She started flipping all of my trays of mail over, throwing it all over the place into the sky, just throwing packages around, reaching into open mailboxes, and throwing mail from them onto the ground. I got it all on film. I was trying to stop her. She kept on saying, "Don't put your hands on me or I will scream that you assaulted me." Then she pulls out her phone and calls the police. She tells that I'm a mailman who tried to assault her and that she needs officers there immediately. And I am literally filming everything and she does not even realize it. Seriously, does this lady just not, is she deaf? Because he literally said it's a felony. Hate to break it to you, but I don't care what you say, felonies are felonies, and probably they just aren't going to be too chill with you just casually committing a few felonies. I mean, I said felonies a whole lot there, but still, I mean, just come on, is she deaf or what? But yeah, it's like she literally didn't even live in reality. Then she just stood there amid the mess with this triumphant, evil little smile on her face, like, I got you and I know it, and I'm going to watch you actually burn. I stopped filming and called my supervisor. My supervisor called the police and the postal inspectors who have the same authority as the U.S. Marshals and handle all mail-related crimes. I feel like that's just a weird thing. I mean, there's a full-on division where people are just getting paid to just, like, deal with mail. I mean, that has to be a pretty empty job, not gonna lie. I mean, no disrespect, I'm sure they probably get the bag for it, but still, it's kind of like a dead job. I don't think they hear that much. My supervisor shows up first, and then I explain everything that happened again. I show her the video, and she just starts ripping into the Karen while the Karen keeps on trying to say that I tried to assault her. My supervisor grabbed my phone and shoved it right up in front of her face and said, "Yeah, I can see that actually happened from the video evidence that shows absolutely nothing of the sort." The police showed up and looked kind of at loss for what they were supposed to do. Like, the mail looks like an actual bomb went off. There's a supervisor screaming at the Karen and not even letting her get a word in. And then there's just her kid happily just opening up as many packages as he can get his hands on, which I didn't even notice until then. They finally just decided that they got an attempted assault call, so they just were going to cuff me and read me my rights. But my supervisor intervened, showed him the video, and told him that what really happened. Then the postal inspectors came up. They have no sense of humor. I think it's surgically removed when they take the job. I'm not even kidding. They also do not take anything from anyone. They looked at the mess, looked at the video, they took my statement, and then arrested for the Karen for tampering with the mail, and for allowing a minor in her care to open up the mail, not addressed to her. Could you imagine going to, like, prison? They're like, "Hey, what are you in it for?" I'm in for actually, like, robbing a bank. "Oh, you opened up your neighbor's packages?" I mean, come on, that's just kind of a depressing thing to go to jail for, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, my supervisor eventually just had to send out 4 other carriers to help out clean up the mess, and we were all there well after dark getting it sorted out and put into the boxes. Quite a few of the other residents had gathered to watch, and some stuck around to chat for a bit while we were cleaning up. I explained what all happened, and then that some of them were just well aware of Karen, what an absolute, just insane person she could be. So yeah, the Karen went to the trail. I was brought into the, to give the version of events. In the end, the Karen was sentenced to 3 years in prison and had to pay a $250,000 fine. That is a fat check just to have to pay for tampering with mail. Oh, if that was my wife, I think I might actually have to divorce her. I'm just like, you got us into $250,000 of debt over mail because you couldn't wait 3 hours. How stupid are you? I'm not with you anymore. Goodbye. And luckily I also got a week off of work to deal with my own anxiety over the whole thing. People, I don't care how mad you are, or whatever, or what you think you're doing, do not mess with my job. You will go to prison for it. That is an absolute, like, just train wreck of a story. Like, she seriously just did all of this after hearing what could happen. I mean, come on. How stupid do you have to be? I mean, like, I don't think I'm the brightest. I mean, I can do some really stupid things sometimes. But you would not catch me dead just dropping out felonies like they're nothing for fun. I mean, seriously, just what's going on? But, yeah, I do hope you guys liked this story. If you did, just please like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And, yeah, have a good day. This is Neon saying see ya, and bye.